This episode is going to be a little more, what's the word? Esoteric? It's going to be a little more on the esoteric side. And when it comes to such things, I will always invoke the ghost of Rod Serling in the Twilight Zone when he says, at the beginning of every episode, submitted for your approval. Just take the content in this episode and do whatever it is you want with it. With that said, welcome to episode 10. What a perfect time to talk about the number 10 and the important symbolic role that it plays in the film. When I was planning the return trip to South Dakota in 2019, I made a discovery when, for the heck of it, I decided to look up when the May long weekend was back in 2008 when this all started. And as it turned out, that weekend would start on Friday, May 16th, 2008. I'd completely forgotten about that. And I was shocked to see that the circle on the map had officially opened that day. And I also saw that, by strange coincidence, my mother would pass away precisely 10 years later on May 16th, 2018, which would signify the closing of that circle in my life and the opening of a new one. That coincidental discovery was not lost on me. Yes, that could possibly be just a coincidence, a random roll of the dice, but to me, it is not some random coincidence. From my perspective, it is significant. I do not see coincidence in this. I see providence. But again, that's just me. Your views may differ. That's just mine. I mention in the film that 10 is the number of divine completion. Now, why would I say such a thing? Well, the number 10 is an ubiquitous magical number that can be found in many significant places, religions, and all cultures around the globe. So here are 10 examples of the symbolic meaning of the number 10. First off, in Judaism and Christianity, the number 10 represents totality and perfection. So for example, in the book of Exodus, there are 10 commandments, that is, total and perfect law. Also in the book of Exodus, there are 10 plagues of Egypt, that is, total and perfect punishment. Another random biblical example is one that you should take 1/10 of your earnings to tithe to the church or charity, so in that case, that is a total and perfect contribution to the whole of society. So those are 3 religious examples. There are also innumerable cultural references to the number 10, and again, I'm just going to pick 3 random ones. In boxing, a referee counts to 10 to determine a knockout. That is a total and perfect victory. In many card games, the 10, Jack, Queen, and King are all valued at 10. Now, the next thing you may have noticed is that the use of the number 10 when we evaluate the highest and most perfect ranking, as in rating on something of a scale from 1 to 10. Beauty, for instance, has been referred to as a perfect 10. And those are just 3 of many cultural references. In math and science, you will discover the following. With exceptions, we generally have 10 fingers and 10 toes, which is likely the source of our numerical base 10 system. In essence, humanity has a personal and eternal attachment to the number 10. Continuing in science, anything described as an order of magnitude is a multiple of 10. Why not a multiple of 8? Why not a multiple of 22? For some reason, it is a multiple of 10. In the tech world, and I find this one the most curious of the bunch, is that the World Wide Web, and that is the totality of humanity's knowledge, is made up of ones and zeros. And lastly, in my film, I talk about 10 years to the day. This would signify the end of a total and perfect storm in my life. These are just a few of the many references to the number 10. And now that I've shown you this, you're going to see it everywhere. And that is just a sliver of the symbolism behind the number 10. In the next episode, I'm going to show you how the number 10 is closely related to circles, like the one I drew on a map that opened the door to this story. So what do you think? Is 10 a magical number, or is it all just a coincidence? I will let you decide that for yourself. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the gift of your time.